Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Talk Show. I'm Dr. Nikam, and we have a special program this evening. We are going to be talking to Cynthia Lukas. She is from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and she's working on Mahatma Gandhi's Gifts, a documentary. And Cynthia, welcome to Triple N Talk Show. Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, I have a background in communications. I was a college instructor for many years and a journalist. And about 12 years ago, I began making, co-producing documentary films with my partner, Kel Kearns.
Oh, what got you interested in documentaries?
Well, it was a natural progression from being a college educator, really. I've always
Yeah,
been a teacher, and I had studied film in both undergraduate and graduate school. And so I did intend to work on films at some point in my life. And when I met Kel Kearns about 12 or 13 years ago,
yeah.
um, he was in the process of making a film, and I was very interested in helping him on that. And so I became a co-producer. And since then, we have made about 5 films. And we believe our most important one will be the one we will release this year called Gandhi's Gift.
That's fascinating. What is the main purpose of these documentaries? Just for educational purpose?
Well, they are educational, but above all,
Yeah,
we hope to inspire people to take positive action in their own
yeah.
lives. We made a film before the one on Gandhi that was called Globalized Soul, and it was about the interfaith movement in the
Uh,
world. We had filmed at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Melbourne, Australia. That's the largest gathering of interfaith people around the world. And so we interviewed people such as the Dalai Lama and others from across a wide range of religions. And we ended up focusing on 2 people after they left the parliament, a Jain in India and a Muslim Sufi from Jerusalem. And anyway, we wanted to inspire people to see the humanitarian work that they were doing in their own communities as a result of being inspired by the acceptance and understanding of other religions and working with people. So we want to inspire people to take similar kinds of actions in their own lives, in their own communities, wherever they live around the world. And so with Gandhi's Gift, we would want to inspire people to really to Gandhian values.
yeah.
We have 4 particular Gandhian values that we will emphasize in our documentary. And of course, the first is ahimsa, or nonviolence, equality, interfaith harmony, and sustainability. And we believe that even though he's been gone since 1948, that he is a very contemporary both philosopher and activist that many young people would like to learn about, and also perhaps to follow him in his own values, to create peace in the world and harmony in our communities.
That's beautiful. Tell us what's the difference between a documentary versus a feature film? What are all the different things that happen in these two different categories?
Well, the key difference is that we deal only as documentary filmmakers with facts. Everything that we place in our documentary is based
You're back. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, okay, let's continue.
Did you hear that answer to that question,
No,
Nick?
let's repeat that one because I think we got cut off, and but I am making a backup copy, so I'll slice and put the whole thing together.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the key difference between a feature film and a documentary film is a documentary film is based entirely upon facts. So everything that we will put into Gandhi's gift will be factual about his life based upon extensive research that we have done for years, and also based upon interviews with people who are scholars on Gandhi, but also in this case, we've been very fortunate to interview a number of Gandhian thinkers and activists who actually met him, and in a few cases grew up in his ashram, his Sevagram ashram, such as Narayan Desai. We interviewed him the last substantive interview before his passing. We've interviewed Mita Ghosh, who grew up in Sevagram ashram. Her parents ran the school in Gandhi's ashram. So we were very fortunate to interview them, as well as Justice Damod Hikari, who was a protege of Gandhi. So that's the key difference between a feature film. A feature film, you can take all kinds of license with facts. You can create your own story. You can embellish, you know, all of those kinds of things. But in a documentary, you must strictly stay to the facts, and that's what we will do. Fortunately, Gandhi's story is absolutely amazing, just sticking to the facts. We wouldn't need to embellish it. And we feel very fortunate to be making a documentary about him, because we'll be able to tell certain things about him that actually only scholars have known up to this point. The feature film that was done on Gandhi was an excellent feature film, but it wasn't completely factual, and it, of course, covered his entire life. And we are focusing on the final 9 years of Gandhi's life, which were extremely fascinating, in the sense that he's at the end of his life, he's in his 70s, he's on the verge of winning independence for India that he's worked on for so many years throughout his lifetime, and yet his heart is breaking at the same time. He goes to prison because of Quit India, loses his closest colleague and friend for 25 years, Mahadev Desai, and then he loses his wife in prison. He also fasts on the verge of death, and the British release him because they think he is dying. And so he leaves prison, and yet he rallies, as he has done and did so many times during his life, and he continues to do some of his greatest work in his late 70s, even though his heart is breaking, as I said, because of partition, which he opposed, and also because of the conflict among different groups in India because of partition, and the terrible violence that occurred as a result. And so his heart is breaking, but he rallies, and he does many things that some called miracles. For example, the miracle of Noah Kali, and that is going to be a high point in Gandhi's gift. When he's 76 years old, he goes on a pilgrimage into an area that has been ravaged by communal violence, and he walks barefoot and alone most of the way, from village to village, just making a personal plea to people to stop the violence and to live in peace together. And he is very amazing, because it's very dangerous for him to do that, but yet he does it, and he does it in total nonviolence. And actually, when he leaves, people have stopped the violence because they've been so inspired by him. So that's called the miracle of Noakhali, because of the fact that he brought such peace to such a violent area. And then he goes on, he has another miracle that's called the miracle of Calcutta, when he fasts and stops the violence there. And then he goes to Delhi, the last place in his life, and has another miraculous fast in which he again is able to stop people who are killing each other and rioting and stealing and all kinds of things. And so miraculous kinds of deeds for a man in his 70s, but very, very inspiring. And that's what we hope to inspire people by, these amazing things that he did.
That's fascinating. What was the most challenging part of producing a documentary versus a feature film?
Well, the most challenging part of producing a documentary, because they aren't quite as popular at this time as feature films and backed by, studios and so forth, the most challenging is raising funds, because the market is not quite as big. And although we've been very fortunate to have received a PBS broadcast, which we will show our 2 separate 1-hour segments of Gandhi's Gift next spring of 2017 on PBS. And that's the high point for documentaries, in the United States, is to be on PBS. So we're very fortunate there, and millions of people will see Gandhi's Gift. They are also interested in distributing it worldwide. So we will have a worldwide audience, which is very important to us, because Gandhi, we want to show people in the United States about him, but we also just as purposefully want to get his message out into the entire world. So to have the global distribution will be great. But anyway, raising money and sponsors to get it onto PBS is always a challenge, simply because documentaries are not quite as much in demand as some other feature films are. And so, that's the challenge of documentary filmmaking. Most of the other challenges are enjoyable, such as finding the right people to interview, traveling to meet them, such as we traveled to South Africa to film Gandhi sites and to interview Ela Gandhi, who's a granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi and the daughter of his second son, Manilal. And so that was a great experience. You could call it challenging, but in another way, it's very fascinating and wonderful to do. So I don't really think of that as a challenge. But raising funds, just because we don't need as big a budget as a feature film, but we still do need to go on these filming trips and go on these interview trips and, do those kinds of things to make this the best documentary possible. And we have been to London to film Gandhi sites when he was studying law in London, and we've been to South Africa to film those important sites. He was there for 21 years, and then to India 3 times to film the important sites in his life there.
That's fascinating. Okay, let's talk about how long does it take from the conception of an idea to a virtual reality of seeing this documentary on a silver screen?
Well, most films have taken us about 3 years to produce, but this one is bigger. Gandhi is an ocean in many ways. And we have to get it right, so that there was a lot of research that went into making this film. So this one will take about 5 years. But our previous one, Globalized Soul, that was about interfaith harmony. The one before that, that was the PBS biography of the Sufi poet Rumi, which up to now has been our most popular film. That one took about 3 years. And it takes, usually there's the concept. The Gandhi film began when we were showing our previous film, Globalized Soul, at the World Peace Festival in Berlin, Germany. And I had invited Arun Gandhi, who was a speaker at the World Peace Festival, to attend. And he was in the front row, and he came rushing up to us afterwards and said that he really enjoyed Globalized Soul. It had a sequence about Gandhi in it, but it was a short sequence, and he had enjoyed it. And so we went to tea with him afterwards, and he said that he was going to India very soon, actually, in about, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, to visit Gandhian sites of his grandfather. And so we looked at each other because we'd both been interested in Gandhi our entire lives. And I think Kel had always wanted to make a film on Gandhi. And so we looked at Arun and said, would you take us with you on your trip? And so, yes, we were able to go with him and film. And that started this film.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching a Triple N talk show. I am Dr. Nikam, and my special guest is Cynthia Lukas. She is from Heavens on Earth Creations, a non-profit educational media organization specializing in producing documentaries. And she is talking to us from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm here in Houston, Texas. Okay, Cynthia, let's talk about how many people are involved in producing a documentary of this magnitude?
Well, actually, 2 key people. My co-producer, the director, Kel Kearns, and I have done most of the work for this documentary. We're a small 501c3 nonprofit in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we do our own filming and editing and scripting and interviewing. And so, we do a lot of it ourselves. We will have some people that we will hire to bring on with distribution of the film and marketing of it. For example, we have recently hired a young man in India who will help us to distribute Gandhi's gift in India so that we can have someone on the ground there. We will also hire someone to do the final editing of the film to make it broadcast quality. And by that I mean to do things such as touch up the archival photos of Gandhi so that they're broadcast quality on television, make the sound, which can sometimes not be of the highest quality when you're out in the field interviewing people, particularly in India. It's very loud there. So getting good sound is important, and we'll need a sound engineer that we'll hire to fix the sound so that it is broadcast quality for PBS. So we'll have some people that we'll hire, to do certain jobs, but the lion's share of making this film has been the 2 of us, Kel Kearns and me. So
that's interesting. So it is not like a feature film. It starts off with a screenplay and you go act by act, or you document, you record different acts, then you bring it to the studio and put it together. But is this a sort of a unrehearsed, like on the spot, whatever you can collect and then piece them together?
Well, it's not quite like that, but it's more like that than it is like what you said, the studios were doing screenplaying and then going out and filming. We actually do the opposite, which is to go out and film before we do the scripting. However, we don't just go out, it's not a reality show going out and simply, whatever we see, we film or interview. We do a lot of research prior to going out on our filming trips, such as to India. We've researched Gandhi thoroughly, for a couple of years perhaps before we go out on the ground and film the sites that were important to his life and interview people who are either Gandhians or scholars or, important people that could give us insights into his life. And so now when we are in India, for example, we do just film, say, sites that we think might be local color to be used in the film, and that is spontaneous. For example, we pass by a mosque and it's very beautiful. We might film it because we know later in the Gandhi film we will need a mosque because there will be discussions of Muslims and Hindus and so forth, and so we'll film Hindu temples and that kind of thing to show that we will have archival footage of Gandhi and photos from his time period, but then we will juxtapose those with contemporary footage, and we do that with the music as well. And the reason is we want to show that Gandhi is very contemporary, even though he's been gone since 1948. We want to show he's a contemporary, so we'll show contemporary footage of India, South Africa, and England alongside of the archival footage and photographs of him. And with music, we will have say songs that he liked when he was alive. We will also have Ravi Shankar playing his homage to Mahatma Gandhi, and we will also have his daughter Anushka Shankar playing. So she's a contemporary, she's younger. We're trying to show that he's not only a figure who's dead in history, but he's very much alive. And so we juxtapose that with contemporary footage and music. And this is very important to all of the films we have made, and really makes biographical and historical figures come alive.
Cynthia, you just mentioned something about marketing and promotion, and now that we have been successfully able to connect on Google Hangout, now you should be able to connect with anybody anywhere in the world. And certainly a lot of people from India and from South Africa and England, so as to promote your documentary.
Yes, we do plan to do a lot of promotion online and through social media. We created a Gandhi's Gift page on Facebook, by the way, and I would encourage anyone who's listening to go to that Facebook page. In a very short time, with just a very small amount of advertising, we have gained more than 37,000 likes on that page. So, and many of these have been young people in India who have liked our page. So we know that this film is something that a lot of young people want to see. Gandhi is a very kindred spirit to young people. He really offers, this whole passion to create positive change that a lot of young people have, and they can relate to him. So I think that when they see this documentary, they will relate to him and be inspired by him. And so we will be using social media to reach out to young people. We also are going to make sure that this film is in as many schools as possible. I have already taken clips to several universities in the United States, and the young people have been very, very excited to see clips from Gandhi's life. Again, because we're showing facts about him that they don't know. They don't know, even if they've seen the feature film by Attenborough on Gandhi, they still don't know these stories that we're telling about him. You know, there's this wonderful story that I showed in a clip at Texas State University about Gandhi making that miraculous pilgrimage to Noakhali. And during that time frame, an African-American leader from the United States comes over to meet with Gandhi in this secluded village and actually does some walking with him on his pilgrimage. And he takes back Gandhian ideas of nonviolence to the United States and really inspires the civil rights movement, which was beginning at that time in the 40s. And so I was showing that clip, telling that story, and a young African-American students in the front row at Texas State University were enthralled and very excited to learn that connection. They knew that King was a disciple, so to speak, of Gandhi, but they didn't know the exact connection, that actually it started much sooner, this connection between Gandhi and the civil rights movement. So they were very thrilled to learn that. So this is the kind of thing that we're showing in this film that nobody's shown before and that students will find very exciting.
That's fascinating. When you do a documentary, is it mostly highlighting their insight, their accomplishments, and their great contribution to the society, or do you also look at some of the shortcomings in their lives?
You know what, we usually focus on their contributions because we are trying to inspire. You know, there have been a number of criticisms of Gandhi in, you know, recent years, and I could tick them off. You know, there's about a handful of them, and I could mention them, and I could also say that my research has shown that, you know, not all of that criticism is accurate. But even if people do believe there are certain things about him that are, you know, not perfect, which of course he was human, and I think he would be the first one to say that. And then the other thing is he was very transparent about his own shortcomings. He was very quick to say when he felt that he had made a mistake, you know, confess his shortcomings and so forth. But we're not going to dwell on that at all in this film. We're going to dwell on, you know, we're going to dwell on what we think will inspire people in his life. And if anybody stands up, you know, at a screening and says, well, I've heard that Gandhi was a bad father, for example, you know, I can certainly answer that with all of the research that I have behind me, because we know him inside and out. I can tell you exactly what he did almost every moment of his life at the end of his life, because I have, you know, read, you know, so many biographies of him, but in particular the one by his final secretary, Parallel, which literally takes him moment by moment. So you know, let's not dwell on his shortcomings at all. Let's look at what he gave to the world, which was quite radical and quite inspiring.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a Triple N talk show. I'm Dr. Nikam. We are coming to you live from Houston, Texas, and this is being live video streamed to Google Plus and YouTube also. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Nikam. My special guest is Cynthia Lukas from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and she is a specialist in producing documentaries. We are talking about Gandhi's Gifts, a documentary which she has been working on. Okay, Cynthia, tell us, do you have a website where people can keep track of what's happening?
Yes, our website is www.gandhisgift.org. And please, I would you know, welcome anybody who's listening to go to that website, and they will see that we will be releasing the film in the fall of 2016, and then they will be alerted to when the broadcast will be in 2017. However, I will tell you that we are planning to have many premieres around the United States and around the world as well. But those listening in Houston, please look at our website, because I am hoping to have a premiere in Houston. I was there recently for an event that was sponsored by the Mahatma Gandhi Library, so I know that there are people there who are very interested in Gandhi, and so I hope to have a premiere in Houston, Texas in the fall or winter.
You know, when you are going to have the premiere in Houston, maybe we would like to get on our talk show again, NNN Nikam, and talk about this very important and vital topic, is especially in this day and age where all the news we hear is nothing more than terror.
Yes. Yes, and that's exactly why we're making this film, is as an antidote to that.
Oh, okay, let me ask you this question. You said you worked on like 4 or 5 documentaries. What is it that is unique that you have learned from studying Mahatma Gandhi's life as opposed to other documentaries you have done in the past?
Well, I've done documentaries on spiritual figures and religious figures, and while Gandhi is and was a very spiritual man, what I think has probably inspired me most about studying his story is the fact that he lived that spirituality and actually lived it and took it into his life to the extent that he did. I mean, when he said, "My life is my message," he was absolutely correct, because he took his life with his spiritual principles of, you know, universality, equality, you know, all of these principles, nonviolence, of course, compassion, love. He took those principles and he lived them. He lived them and brought them into politics, which was an absolute new thing in the world. Our commentator Narayan Desai makes the statement in the film that the decision to say no, to stand up to oppression and say, no, we will not accept it, but do it in a nonviolent way. That was the absolutely new thing that Gandhi brought into this world. Now, we've seen many, many nonviolent revolutions since Gandhi, but everyone that I know of has been inspired by him, who actually created that in many ways. So he's incredibly inspiring to me, because he took his spirituality into politics and into every aspect of his life. So politics as well. And he lived it, and he showed people how to live it. He was very transparent. He said, "Here, look at me, see how I'm doing it. So you can do it too. Anybody can do this. You know, here it is." And he took it out there and he just showed people. And that to me is very, very inspiring. And also another aspect of him is his incredible humility. Despite everything that he achieved, he still was able, and maybe this is because he never actually held a political office, but he was able to maintain this absolute humility and identity with the poor and needy of the world, and never lost that his entire life. He was true to his values, which, you know, you just don't see that many people able to do that. And to be so incredibly active in his later years, like I said, in his 70s, is also an amazing inspiration to me. So for all those reasons, he's touched my life. That's
absolutely fascinating. And, you know, and I have studied about Mahatma Gandhi, and I mean, he liberated 340 million people from the British rule back in 1940s. A man who never carried a rupee in his pocket, and his picture is on every currency in the Indian money. So that's
Yes.
a reflection as to the contribution that he has made to our country and the amount of love and admiration he has received from more than 1 billion people now. So you're going to be in Houston sometime in the future?
Well, I hope so. I would like to, because as I said, I would like to have a premiere of Gandhi's Gift in Houston. So I would like to be there in the fall and present it. I think that we would have a wonderful program. I think a lot of people in the community would be interested in seeing this very inspiring story that we're going to tell.
What stage is your documentary at the present time? Is it completely
Well,
gone through the production?
no, we've completed all of the filming and interviewing and scripting. So now we will begin to do what's called rough edit, and we will take the next couple of months to create the rough edit, which is to put all the pieces together. Then we're going to have a few test screenings in the summer. And one place we're going to have a test screening is the Satyagraha Institute in South Dakota. They're going to sponsor a test screening. So we will, ASU in Tempe, Arizona is another university that's sponsoring a test screening, and we will take the film, and then we will be there on site and hear the feedback of the audience. We will ask them for their reaction, their input, their criticism, their praise, whatever. We'll get feedback, and then we will complete the final edit by September 15th, which is our deadline for PBS. And then we will begin to have these local premieres in the US and around the world, and those will all be before the broadcast on PBS in spring of 2017.
That's fascinating. Cynthia, how challenging it is to get interviews from some of the top world leaders or people in great positions when you're doing a documentary of this magnitude?
Well, you know, we've had great success getting into the the top scholars, for example, on Gandhi, and before that on in Globalized Soul, for example, we were able to film the Dalai Lama and some other religious figures. But we've had success. I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think that the people that we interview, we have to prove to them that we know our subject, when we contact them. And I think that they understand that we do know our subject. Our principal commentator for the Gandhi's Gift is Dr. Rajmohan Gandhi, who is both a grandson of Gandhi and a Gandhi scholar, and has written the definitive biography on Gandhi. And when we showed him clips recently, he actually said that he thought Gandhi's Gift was going to be a groundbreaking documentary. And so that he knows that we're showing things that haven't been shown about Gandhi before, and will surprise some people in a positive way. And so anyway, when we contacted him, for example, he was at the University of Illinois as a scholar there, and we were able to prove to him by when we wrote him and then when we talked to him on the phone that we knew what we were talking about, and that our hearts were in the right place, and that we were not making, for example, a smear film, to smear Gandhi's reputation or anything like that. Far be it from that. Actually, as I mentioned to you earlier, we're trying to focus on his very, very amazing positive contributions and to inspire people with that. So it hasn't been that difficult for us to get the top scholars on Gandhi and many of the top thinkers. I think because we have done our homework and we've proven ourselves with past films. My partner, Kel Kearns, made the PBS biography of King. So it was on PBS as a major event for the first anniversary of the King holiday. So that was in 1987. So people understand when we approach them that we have a track record, and our films have been on PBS, and they will get millions of people to see them. You know, PBS viewership is something like, 90 or 100 million viewers now. You know, it's 82% of the United States population. So when we approach people, they understand as commentators that they will have a big viewership, and so, we're able to get positive responses from people.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching a Triple N talk show coming to you live from Houston on YouTube and also Google Plus. My special guest this evening has been Cynthia Lukas, and she is working on a documentary on Mahatma Gandhi titled Gandhi's Gifts, and this is going to be released very soon in the fall of 2016. Cynthia, maybe before we conclude, you can give out the Facebook and the website address, and when we can expect to see the premiere here in Houston.
Well, our Facebook page is Gandhi's Gift on Facebook. So simply go on Facebook and type in Gandhi's Gift. And then our website is www.gandhisgift.org. And so it's pretty easy to find. I would hope that we could have a premiere in Houston in the fall. I would love it to be one of our first premieres, because when I was there, I did feel that there was a great deal of interest in Gandhi, and also an interest in his legacy being, continued. And so I think that we would have a great event. I think the whole community, whether they have been involved with Gandhi's legacy or not, will be interested in seeing this film. And I think it would be a great place to have a premiere. So I'm looking forward to that in the fall. There has been some interest on the part of the city of Houston to have a premiere, and I hope that that will indeed occur, because I think that a citywide event is certainly what Gandhi deserves.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Cynthia. And hopefully, we can have the first premiere here in Houston. As you know, Houston is maybe the third largest city in the United States. And so we will be looking forward for the Gandhi's Gifts premiere. And anyway, we can help you to promote this program here in the Houston area. Let us know. And so we'll be looking forward for your next visit to Houston. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Triple N Talk Show, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about cricket. As you know, India will be playing against Australia on Sunday, so we're going to have a preview of cricket tomorrow. Thank you, and good night. Okay.